Hi everybody, so today I'm going to be doing my April book haul. Before I get started, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to all the lovely support I've received from my first video that I posted. I didn't really expect such a great response and I'm really excited and pumped up to carry on making videos for you. Yeah, it's exciting. I think now I've got that first video out of the way, I'm going to feel much more comfortable and excited, so let's just jump straight into it. So in the month of April I purchased 17 books. I'm going to try and go through them as briefly as possible. Some of them will be in my April wrap up, so I don't want to spend too much time on those. So the first three are sort of a package deal. I believe I picked these up from Stratford-upon-Avon and they are the Wandsworth classics. They're not the most beautiful covers, but I think they're quite sweet really. So we've got here Grimm's Fairy Tales, Alice in Wonderland and The Secret Garden. All three of these are actually unabridged, so they're the original formats and they include some of the original illustrations and things. I've never read any of these before and I'm really looking forward to finally getting to them. I love the film of The Secret Garden, Alice in Wonderland as well is fantastic, and Grimm's Fairy Tales. I mean, I love fairy tales, I can't believe I haven't read them yet, so I'm really looking forward. So the next book is one that I mentioned yesterday in my New York Times by the book tag, and that's The Tiny Wife by Andrew Kaufman, which I explained then. I finished this now as well, so I'll talk a bit more about this in my April wrap up. The next two books are both by Ali Smith, and the first one is The First Person and Other Stories, and the second one is Hotel World. After reading Other Stories and Public Library and Other Stories, I definitely wanted to pick up another one of her short story collections, and I've heard really great things about Hotel World. It's again a sort of short story collection focused around people that work in and are around a hotel. That sort of thing really intrigues me, seeing one situation but lots and lots of different perspectives from it, so I'm really looking forward to picking this up. I'm not a massive fan of the cover, but they all look nice together on my shelves. The next book I actually picked up probably on the last day of March, but I will count it because it's relevant to this month, and that's All the Rage by Courtney Summers. I picked this up so I could read it along with the Banging Book Club that Leena, Lucy and Hannah do, where they pick a book each month that's to do with sex or feminism, and it's fantastic. Every month I've read it and they do a fantastic podcast. I'll leave all the links to their channels and their podcasts in the description. You probably heard of them anyway, but yeah, I really enjoyed this again. I'll be talking about this a bit more in my April wrap up. It's a YA contemporary fiction surrounding sort of rape culture. It's in the same vein of sort of Asking for It by Louise O'Neill, which is also a fantastic book. So yeah. The next book I also mentioned in my by the book tag is to be read, and that's The Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham. Again, as I said, I'm reading this for my apocalyptic fiction seminar that's happening at university, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this. What will be my first John Wyndham book. Hopefully we'll be picking up more later. The next book I actually picked up from a charity shop, but I'm really glad that I did because I ended up needing it for university, and that's George Sanders' 10th of December. This is a fantastic short story collection. Again, I've read this prior, so being my April wrap up. We studied the short story in here called Puppy, which is just wonderful. If you've never read any of George Sanders' short stories, I highly recommend them. I haven't read every single short story in here, but by the time I come around to my wrap up, hopefully I'll have finished them, but definitely check this out. The next book I picked up in London in an independent bookshop, and that was Hiromi Karakami's Strange Weather in Tokyo. I think if I read the blurb, that'll probably describe it the best to you. It's a very short book. One night when she's drinking alone in a local bar, Tsukiko finds herself sitting next to her former high school teacher. Over the coming months, they share food and drink sake, and as the seasons pass, Tsukiko and her teacher come to develop a hesitant intimacy which tilts awkwardly and poignantly towards love. It's actually translated by Alison Markin-Pole, so that's interesting. Really looking forward to getting to this one. So the next one is If Nobody Speaks of Remarkable Things by John McGregor. It's something to do with a very small town in England. Children are playing cricket, very normal sounding English village, and then a terrible event shatters the quiet of the summer evening and no one who witnessed it will ever be the same again. I've never heard of this book. If anybody's read it down below or knows of John McGregor, please let me know because it sounds great, and I'll be getting to this one soon. The next one is quite a popular one. I've seen the film and absolutely adored it. It's one of my favourite films of all time, and I finally managed to pick it up and I got it for 99p in Oxfam, which is Never Let Me Go by Kishiro Ishiguro. If you don't know much about this book, I'd really recommend going into it not knowing much. All is not what it seems in this book, certainly. It's very powerful, moving, really great. Can't wait to read this. The next is The Museum of Extraordinary Things by Alice Hoffman. Again, I don't really know that much about this, which is a surprise because I do love books about the circus and fantastical, magical realism type things. Hopefully it will live up to the beautiful cover and the blurb. It sounds really interesting. The next book is another short story collection, and that's Julie Uringer's How to Breathe Underwater. I can't wait to read this. I'm probably going to read this next month. From what people have said, it is very realistic, reflects sort of growing up as a teenage girl. to do with friendships, siblings, romance, that sort of thing. Next is another book that again I mentioned very briefly in my By the Book tag, and that's The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell, which I had to pick up after I read Slade House, which I'll talk more about in my April wrap up. This spans over 6 decades, but it focuses on one girl. Sounds really good. The penultimate book in this haul is Bird Box by John Mallingham. I don't usually go for sort of the very scary, horror, creepy, dark books, but this just sounds fantastic. Again, I don't really know much about this. I've had a recommendation from a friend to read this. Most people dismissed the reports on the news, but they became too frequent, they became too real, and soon it was happening to people we know. Then the internet died, the televisions and radios went silent, the phones stopped ringing, and we couldn't look outside anymore. That I'm sold. That sounds absolutely brilliant. Yeah, if you've read this, let me know what you think. I know quite a lot of people have read this on BookTube. It's quite a popular book. And finally is another short story collection, and that's Amy Bender's Willful Creatures. I know that this is a very strange, weird... Amy Bender's renowned for doing sort of strange short stories, and I can't wait to read it. It's definitely my sort of short story collection. I'm really, really excited to read this. And that's it. I'm surrounded by books now. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know if you've read any of these books. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts. If you would like to subscribe, then please do. I really, really hope you've enjoyed this. Again, thank you all so much for the lovely comments on my first video. Really, really means a lot to me. So I'll see you next week then. Bye!